When you have this kind of moment, we're not on calendar time tonight. This is a time of the Spirit, because this is consecrated time in the struggle of so many people trying to keep alive a tradition. Brother Jazz, exemplary freedom fighter. Sister Angela, living legend because of her deep love for poor people, the wretched of the earth. Our dear Sister Michelle has written the secular Bible of the movement, not just against mass incarceration, not just about new Jim Crow, but to cast a light on the new form that the legacy of white supremacy takes in our time. So we're willing to talk openly, candidly, critically, and lovingly about a people who have been traumatized and terrorized and stigmatized for over 400 years. And this young brother representing voices of a younger generation, many of whom have opted for career rather than calling, have opted for ambition rather than fundamental transformation, have opted for being peacocks rather than eagles, concerned with the least of these. Now, I've been blessed with Brother Tavis Smiley. I'm on a poverty tour, #2. We've done 12 events. I just was in 4 cities today. So if my voice goes out, my effort is strong, but my body is giving up, because I'm a Jesus-loving, free black man who's been in America for 59 years, and sometimes your body just gives out on you. Sometimes you just give out. That's all right. I just sit down and listen to Luther, God dang it. But what do I see? Very briefly, traveling the nation, I see precious human beings of all colors, cultures, sexual orientations, who are living in an empire in relative economic decline because of corporate greed and big banks and big corporations who have been generating billions of dollars with no productive value, no concern about public interest and common good. I see working people being pushed to the edge, and I see poor people being rendered invisible. I see deep cultural decay because I see an obsession with stimulation and titillation and weapons of mass distraction that keeps people sleepwalking and keeps people complacent, keeps people complicit, and keeps people cowardly and not wanting to tell the truth about the country in which we live. And I see political paralysis of 2 political parties that are tied to Wall Street and big corporations. Though there are some differences, they are in denial about the fundamental issues facing the empire. And let us be honest about it. Anytime you talk about the crimes in America, and anytime you talk about the mass incarceration and the resistance against mass incarceration, it takes us back to the initial crimes of white supremacist mistreatment of our precious indigenous brothers and sisters. They don't have to be in the room for us to acknowledge the role that they had to go through in order for America to become America. And then the second sin, which is the enslavement of Africans. And it has been the black freedom movements and the anti-racist movements that has reminded America, when America was about to go under, that you either renew your democratic possibilities or you become another nation, crypto-fascist, authoritarian, autocratic, patriarchal, anti-Semitic, anti-Muslim, anti-Islam, shaped with xenophobia. So when we talk about hyper-incarceration, we're talking about the ways in which our precious young people, disproportionately black and brown, who could have used their energies to be part of a movement, a freedom movement, a black freedom movement. I say black freedom movement, I'm talking about justice and freedom. Don't believe the hype that the black freedom movement has been solely about the freedom of black people. That's not true. Frederick Douglass didn't believe it. Martin didn't believe it. Ella didn't believe it. They began on the chocolate side of town, but it spilled over to vanilla folk, spilled over to yellow folk, spilled over to brown folk. But you're going to have to start with the legacy of white supremacy if you're going to really transform this system. That's why when our dear sister said New Jim Crow, that's why when Sister Angela said, when I'm talking about abolishing prisons, it's part of an anti-white supremacist movement. And people have been so in denial, and in the age of Obama, it's difficult to be honest about how vicious this system, the white supremacist legacy really is with our precious black brother in the White House. Because it constitutes progress only to the degree to which we're less racist than we used to be, but we're more racist in institution when it comes to black poor, brown poor, when it comes to the possibilities of those who could constitute our movement. And so this movement begins with mass incarceration, but in the end, it's about the fundamental transformation of an empire that has democratic possibilities if we have the courage to fight for it and execute it. And if not, we slide down a slippery slope to hatred, revenge, domination, and subordination. That's why I got a smile on my face, because that's the kind of people I want to be with.
Yes, sir.